How's it going? How does it feel?
You don't realize the things that you took for granted until you don't have it.
What are the big things and the little things that you've missed, Julie?
My children and my husband. You know, I missed birthdays and holidays and graduations and things that I can never get back. So now I just have to focus on what's ahead of us.
It's been a month since Todd and Julie Chrisley walked out of federal prison after being convicted on 12 counts of wire fraud, bank fraud, and tax evasion in 2022. They were in the midst of serving 12 and 7-year sentences.
We are freaking out over here. Well, I have shed so many tears. The president called me personally.
Your parents are going to be free and clean, and I hope we can do it by tomorrow.
Donald Trump surprised them with a presidential pardon after their daughter's sustained campaign to win their freedom.
What is your response, though, to people who say, you know, you wear the MAGA hat, you speak at the RNC, this is pure political favoritism, they don't deserve...
For sure. I get it. I get how it could look that way, but for me, I've also lost a lot along the way.
It's almost like a rebirth.
Todd Chrisley made his money as a real estate developer. The family's series, Chrisley Knows Best, giving a peek into his family's lavish lifestyle.
This is my closet. Things are organized by season. Something that's not right here, and this should not be here. In a year, we probably spend $300,000, sometimes more, just on clothing.
What was the first normal thing you did after coming out?
You know, I think us having dinner, we get to start over, and acknowledging that and giving God the glory for that.
The first meal?
Pizza Hut.
Zaxby's.
The first night of sleeping in your own bed?
Heaven.
Yes.
First post-prison shower or bath?
Without shower shoes,
shoes.
it was almost like your first sexual encounter.
That good?
That good.
What was it like reuniting with Savannah? I mean, I've seen that video.
To see him running towards me and to see the individuals, the correctional officers, not grabbing him, and like he was free. So I think that was just so surreal.
One of Todd's first public outings, a shopping trip to Nordstrom that went viral with paparazzi in hot pursuit.
I've had to get these poor people here at the Nordstroms to help me escape. Hell, they should have been there 28 months ago.
We get into the Nordstrom, and I'm going about my business, and I look up, and here comes press with long lens cameras running down the middle of the mall. And I said, oh my God. So I said, okay, then you know what? You're not getting the picture. I'm wearing the bag.
Julie largely remained out of the public eye after her release, besides this one picture captured by a Fox News digital journalist, Julie without her signature blonde hair.
So my daughter says, Mom, come with me to the butcher shop.
Well, nobody's going to show her the butcher shop that I've been going to.
She's like, nobody's going to follow us. Nobody's going to follow us. Okay, they did. So that picture's there forever. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm home. That's all that matters.
So how did the Chrisleys end up in federal prison? In all, federal prosecutors accused the Chrisleys of stealing more than $30 million over the years in fraudulent loans from community banks. Within that time, they also filed for bankruptcy. The indictment calling them career swindlers. The Chrisleys pleaded not guilty, maintaining their innocence.
The heart of the defense here was that they didn't even know that this had happened. They blamed their accountants, saying they're the ones who filed these documents. They're the ones who were lying, and they had no idea. Prosecutors presented a lot of documents here to try to demonstrate that they had engaged in this fraud, like false bank statements, audit statements, invoices. So they used all of these together to try to show this wasn't just a mistake, this wasn't an error, this was intentional.
In the end, the jury convicted the Chrisleys along with their accountant. A judge sentenced them to prison and ordered the Chrisleys to pay $17 million in restitution.
What, if anything, do you think you did wrong?
I trusted the wrong person.
What does redemption mean to you?
I don't really look at redemption because I know that what we were convicted of we didn't do. So I'm not trying to redeem anything. I think that certainly trying to prove what happened and getting the truth out there and exposing those that was involved in it is important to me.
Savannah says she worked hard to get her parents that presidential pardon.
You said that people were accusing you of all manner of things.
Yes.
Sleeping your way to the pardon, paying your way to the pardon. How did you handle that kind of talk?
What was challenging for me was the fact that this talk came from women. So we as women had the ability to build each other up and tear each other down. And I worked for 2.5 years. I did not have a single political connection. I went to DC. I forced myself into rooms I was never invited into.
It was so disheartening, but not unexpected. Would I have slept with someone to get one of my children home? I'd have sold tickets to the show. But my daughter didn't have to do
Yeah, I certainly did not.
Todd and Julie have paid some of the $17 million in restitution they owed. They say they will try now to get that money back.
They got really lucky. A jury convicted them, and appeals court upheld the conviction. They can argue all they want that it didn't happen, but a jury didn't buy it, and an appeals court didn't buy it. But Donald Trump did, and they should be incredibly grateful.
There are some who feel that you were convicted by a jury of your peers, that the appeal was not granted, and that you didn't serve your time.
We were convicted by a jury of our peers, were we? I didn't see multimillionaires in that jury box. I didn't see people that were in the film industry in that jury box. I saw people in a heavily Democratic county, and a judge allowed them to paint us as this white family who has white entitlement and who has money to burn.
The Chrisleys say their time behind bars has left a lasting mark, largely thanks to the people they met inside prison.
They stood in the lobby and they chanted and said, "Don't forget us." And I'm not.
I have met some amazing women. I've met some women that I will be friends with till the day that I die.
And you talked about some of the skills that you learned and
Well,
took
I
part
stayed
in.
busy.
You
I stayed busy. I was determined.
Did you really
to stay
drive
busy.
a forklift?
I did. I absolutely did. I stayed busy every day. I was going to keep my mind active, my body active.
I stayed in a routine. I got up, I showered, I shaved, I put on my clothes, I went to the library, I did my emails, I called Savannah every morning, and then I went and worked out. And then I read a lot. I read 116 books while I was gone. I read a lot of Maya Angelou, and that was very helpful. That was very helpful.
And there was a lot of talk that you got jacked during that time.
I'm certainly in better shape than I was when I went in.
This man couldn't even make it through a workout session.
I didn't want to.
With me before he went in. And now he's like, all right, let's go work out.
But it was my saving grace. It was my sanity.
Your wife is driving forklifts, and you're
But she's
lifting
always been
weights.
different than me. I mean, like, you put me in federal prison, I'm not working for you. I'm not giving you no free labor. I'm not doing any of that. I'm here to do time, not your chores.
Now that the Chrisleys are reunited, they're finding their new normal, which includes a new reality show on Lifetime. But the question is, will viewers welcome them back into their homes?
You know, there were people that loved Chrisley Knows Best, but then there were people that didn't. You know, so I think you had to develop this thick skin when you're in television.
I've always told my children that it doesn't matter what someone else's opinion is of you unless it causes you to question who you are at your core. No one's opinion of me has ever caused me to question who I am at the core. So I don't worry about someone else's opinion.
For much more, tune in to The Chrisleys, Life After Lockup, streaming now on Hulu and Disney+.